Good morning, good afternoon, and a good evening from wherever you may be watching this in this wonderful world of ours. Today I was actually going to do a talk about immigration and the failed multicultural experiment, and I don't know that I'm going to do a lot of time on it because honestly the immigration debate has been flogged to death, I believe, in every Western country throughout the world, and the governments, God help them, and us, that they continue to try and tell us that it is a success. And I think everybody that lives it, even those legal immigrants that have come out and adopted the cultures of the countries that they've gone to, see it as a failed experiment when the governments bring in people from foreign lands who do not accept the culture of the country they're coming into. Now, whether that's any country in Europe or UK or Australia, New Zealand, America, they just fail to adopt the culture of this great country or your great countries. So they're the ones that are creating the issue, I believe. The legal immigrants who come in and adopt our culture bring some of their ethnic values in with them, like their beautiful foods, some of the things that they do and adopt, and they don't come and change and want to change the culture of the country they've moved to. God, we need more of them in our country. The ones that are coming in at the moment, and I believe flooding every Western country in the world, because I believe we are far too soft and we allow them to do their radical things that they do, that's creating this problem. Now, a lot of people, and some people have called me a racist, and I don't know whether that word's acceptable on YouTube, but hey, the fact is the fact. I'm not a racist. I don't care what colour your skin is. I don't necessarily accept some of the cultural values that some of these people want to bring into our country. And again, our country is Australia. I know that some cultures, and no, not races, and again, that's a word that confuses me because we're all the human race. We aren't a different race. We are all Homo sapiens with different cultural backgrounds. And I think the cultural backgrounds are the problem when we accept a cultural background of someone that thinks female genital circumcision, I'm sorry for the words, but I don't know how else to put it, is an acceptable thing. And I just don't think that culture should be accepted or brought into anything that doesn't hold true to that value. So that's where I think the multicultural experiment has failed. Religion is another thing that's a little bit of a hard thing to discuss. Everyone has the right to practice the religion of their choice. However, I don't believe that anyone, regardless of where they come from, even from my country, has the right to force our religion onto anyone coming into our country. I even believe that it's less reasonable that someone coming into a predominantly Christian country tries to force their religious views and values on us. So, multicultural failed. Immigration is a win for everybody, so long as the people coming into the country accept the values and the culture of the country they're going to. I think I have to leave it at that because it's just such a big argument. There's so many things happening in our country now that are really volatile, and the government's trying to cater to the religious fanatical people on both ends, but I think they're more swinging to the one side than the other, and I'm finding that in a rural area of Queensland, how it's affecting us, and even I'm sure greater in the cities of the states. So I'm going to leave the immigration thing apart. You can put your comments in there. If anything happens to this video, then it's because I've used those words that I'm probably not allowed to use. But anywho, that's the way it is. So just to go over, I had someone say yesterday they didn't understand what these blue lines were and that was affecting their condition, ADD. That's another thing. I'll just go over this really quickly. I'm not so sure there is such thing as ADD, and I think we are diagnosing people with ADD that don't have ADD at all, because we went through this with some people we know and even closer to our family, diagnosed with ADD, that have huge attention when it comes to something they're particularly interested in, whether that's fishing, building something, gaming. Now look, it really doesn't matter what it is. these people have attention to detail. The hyperactive side of it doesn't relate if someone can sit down and methodically build a box that takes 2 or 3 hours and they say this person has ADD. I'm not thinking it's true. I think what the condition needs to be described as, and quote me on this, and my students from bygone era would know this from me. Everybody had no ADD, unless we've got to wipe that out of the equation. There may be some genuine cases, and I'm sorry for those people. But the general condition, I believe, is ATD, and that's what we need to say. And instead of looking at it as going, I've got an attention deficit disorder, which is ADD, I have attention to detail, which is ATD. And that's the condition that I think we all need to adopt. So the people that see the things in the background and look at it and go, oh my God, it's affecting my ADD. Sorry, G-Men. It's actually, you have attention to detail and you see that those blue marks are actually out of place. And that is gold. And I thank you for telling me that, but I'm not going to change it, so deal with it. All right, so what I want to rabbit on today about is the devolving, I believe, of the English language. Now, when you go to college, university, school, primary school, preschool, everyone, I believe, in Australia and America and New Zealand and the UK learn English. Now, you don't go to Australian school and learn Australian. You don't go to an American school and learn American. And you don't go to a New Zealand school and learn New Zealand. Like, you all learn English. I get that there's variation in dialect and variation in different locations and language, and it slips and it changes, but I don't get why it devolves. I don't get why they change a word and give it a different meaning. Now, the one that always jumps out to me is take. Now, I hear it a lot in almost, and I hear educated people say it too, and it may be because I'm not educated, I simply don't get it. So the simple thing are 3 phrases that they use, and I hear all the time: I'm going to take a shower, or I'm going to take a pee, or a piss, whatever you want to say, or I'm going to, I don't know, take a walk. So the English is, I'm going to have a shower, or I'm going to have a pee, or I'm going to have or go on a walk. I don't take a walk, because you can't take a walk. You can't grab hold of something and take it, but you can have a walk. You can go on a walk. You can't, well, some people maybe can take a pee. Now, I would say in that language, if I have to do a urine sample for a medical test, I'm going to take my urine to the doctor. But I can't take it in the toilet. Like, I have a pee in the toilet. I don't take it in the toilet, because I'm not literally taking it anywhere. I think the verb, if that's the right English grammar thing, is correct in this part of the language. So the same as having a shower. Like, I'm going to go tell my wife, babe, I'm going to go have a shower, because that makes sense. I'm not going to go take a shower, because I would ask her to say, where are you taking it? Because you just can't take it anywhere. And it's just creeping into our language, this misuse of the word, which sort of brings into the next part of that. When people say, and I've even heard, like, people that I admire on the internet say it like this, and maybe you can explain it to me. How can I bring it to school? How can I bring it to work? Bring is the wrong tense, I think, if that's the right word. I will go to work and I'll take my lunch with me. I won't bring my lunch with me. But when I'm at work, if I don't eat it, I'll bring it home. Because I'm talking about future tense and present tense. Right now, I have an item, my drink bottle, I'm going to take it into my van. I'm now future tense, I'm now in the van, and I'm talking to you now, and I say, well, I'm taking my drink bottle to the van, but then I'll bring it back later. Now, I don't bring it to the van, so I'm now going to bring my drink bottle to the van with me, and then later on I'm going to take it back to here. That's just such the wrong way of speaking it. And it for some reason, and maybe because I'm rabbiting on to you about this and it's just a ridiculous subject, it infuriates me. And even educated people are doing it now. To me, and maybe please someone out there, if you ever who listens to this, if ever anyone does, educate me on the uses of take and bring in the examples I've just given you. How can I bring a drink bottle into the van and take it back to my chair here? In future tense. Like I'll take it into the van and I'll bring it back later. Or I'll take it to the van now. Well, take it to the van now is probably the right context. But I'm not just going to take the drink bottle. You need to add the rest. So you're shortening it, which changes the language. Which brings me to the next one, which I don't get at all. Please explain those last things to me, because I think that's important. The next one I've got here is, like I heard someone say this, and I think it might have been Dave Rubin, or someone in that stream of YouTube who I listen to quite a lot and respected in my heaps, said y'all. Y'all need to look at this. Y'all. And that's Y''AL. And y'all has always been, and maybe from the Australian point of view, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, a hillbilly way of speaking. Hillbilly speaking, or hillbilly talk, has always been, in my view, and probably wrongly so, seen as being illiterate. Right? Y'all. Y'all people, you need to, y'all do this. And I'm going, my God, that's another thing that drives me insane. And it's starting to happen in Australia. So the language is filtering down from wherever the origins are. I'm not going to say where they are, because I believe if you do the dig deep into it, you'll find that it comes from Scotland, not from the deep south of America. But y'all is lazy. It's either everybody or all of you. So all of you need to listen to what I have to say, or everybody needs to listen, because I think this is important. Y'all need to listen to me. Like, really? We're really going down that far in our language that our intelligent, smart influencers are starting to speak like they are becoming illiterate. And no disrespect, guys. Again, say love your work. But drop y'all. It is absolutely sounding like you are dumbing yourself down in your communication to us. And I'll try my hardest not to not watch your videos if you continue to use that language. But every time you do it, I'm getting more and more likely to go unsubscribe, because you are far too intelligent to use that type of language. It doesn't bring you down to a lower level of people. It lowers you to a lower level of people, and that's unfortunate. I think our role as YouTubers, and I'm far from a YouTuber, guys, but our role is to educate and enlighten people, not to take ourselves down to that level. To be successful, I believe, in any of this industry is to be able to talk to everybody at a normal level. And simple, plain English is that level. Not y'all and take a shower, take a pee, none of that. That's all wrong language, and we need to bring it down to a central, simple language to learn. It might take you a little bit of effort to do it, but let's just try and make that happen. My opinion, don't care if you don't like it. So the last thing is, again, another thing from really intelligent people, and unbelievable. Just like y'all, people are starting to say something. So there's something wrong with this. Something. It isn't think. There's no K on the word. It's a G on the word. Not something. It's something. Thing. T-H-I-N-G is ing. It's not ink. So listen to yourself. Listen to the way you speak. Do you say, oh, there's something wrong with that? Or maybe I should say now, I'm going to think about that item. I'm going to think about that. And if I think about it enough, maybe I'll understand why people say something. Like, the language isn't that hard. It's ing, not ink. Guys, that's just unbelievable. Educated people are doing it. And I mean seriously educated people. I believe, and I hope I didn't, believe I even heard Jordan Peterson say it. You go figure that. One of the most educated men in the world who I admire more than, I would pretty much say, any man. I believe one day in one of his podcasts I watched said something, and it just blew my mind. How can an educated person do that? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, anyway, On that, I've got a good friend who runs a podcasting system, one podcast in particular called Waffles and Whiskey, and I'm going to put a link on his to that channel down the bottom here. And to G-Man, on that argument you said in your last podcast about Kansas and Arkansas, and why isn't it Arkansas or Kansas? I want to add to that, and I think I've talked to you about this before, but we live in Australia and we're Australians, and a lot of people out there obviously are in America. They live in America and they're Americans. If you come from Canada, why aren't you a Canadian? Now, they say they're from Canada and they're Canadian. So wouldn't that make them coming from Canada? If they're Canadian and you're Australian, America, American, Canada, Canadian. Or if you are from if you're a Canadian, don't you come from Canada? I don't know. That's again, let's go with that. Maybe there's something in the language that I'm missing, and maybe it's just the pronunciation of a word. Our Australian capital, believe it or not, for those of you who aren't from Australia, is not Sydney or Melbourne. It's actually Canberra. And that could have easily been something different if the lady who cut the ribbon called it Canberra. But hey, maybe that's the language as well. Give me some of the things you know that are English language changes. I'll list you a couple. Newcastle, Mall, Manuka, Manuka. Like, which one is the right one to say it? Pimpama. Like, I don't know. How do you know the language? How can you communicate effectively with someone if the language isn't common? I talk to young people and I don't understand their language. And there's a generation gap right there. Everyone needs to speak the common language, and that's all I'm going to say. So, given that, again, if you got this far, thank you. Good luck to you. Me rabbiting on again for stupid things about topics that I have an interest to. I don't know what I'll do next video, whether it be tomorrow or in a couple of days from now. If you've got this far, do that stuff that you know you've got to do. If you don't do it, don't give a rat's ass. But it'll be nice just so that we can move on and do other things. I'm just going to do this regardless. So I'd like to say to you, love the journey you're on. Peace, love and one being, guys, until I talk at you next.